you smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh, easier to love, oh, oh. There's nothing like the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away, and the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh, easier to love, oh, oh. If the sky is falling down on me, you'll be the one that's by my side to lift away from me. And if I find myself in reckless seas, you'll be the one to pull me back into reality. Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. Cause baby, in your eyes.
Hey guys, I decided to cut the countdown short. We are just a few minutes early, and I do want to go ahead and start kind of going through some of the stuff, some of the swag that I got from Creativation, because I know you guys are interested in that. And today we're going to be playing with one of the things that I got, which was the Ulti-mate2 from Lisa Horton. So that is going to be super fun. I've actually got a couple of things where I tried it out, didn't put any kind of effort in, and you're gonna love what it came up with. So in case you guys are new, anybody who's new in here, I am Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner, and I was fortunate enough to go along with one of my crafty buddies who has a company. That's Amanda with Pear Blossom Press. I was fortunate enough to go along with her to Creativation this year. That is the Crafty Trade Show. It is just for businesses, so that is retailers and manufacturers, and then there are some of us that are considered creative professionals that are kind of in the middle, so we're creating content that kind of connects you to the companies. So anyway, let me go ahead and say hello to everybody in the chat, and I'm going to scroll back up. We've got Miss Maureen Pryor. Crystal is having thunderstorms in her area, which causes power outages. I know what you mean. We get those too. We are in the lightning capital of the world, I think, or at least of the country. I think, yeah, Orlando is really big up there. So we've got Maureen and Crystal and Miss Cordelia. Hello, hello, Miss Cordelia. Welcome, welcome. And Donna Nipper is in the house as well. And you guys have already seen Todd walk by. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera down, get my keyboard out of the way so I can start showing you some of the stuff, and then we can start playing a little with that new tool and some stencils and stuff that I got from Lisa Horton as well. So let me go ahead and switch that over. I've also got a separate tablet over here as my stream deck, so hopefully that's going to work better for us if I can just remember to hit the button. Okay, so we're down here, and let me turn off that countdown. It is so cool. I can just hit a button and we are good. So there, I got my face cam up. So I've got everything gathered up off to the side so it's not on my desk because, yeah, there's not enough room. So I'm going to start off with I got a couple of really pretty bags that I don't know what I'm going to do with, but we've got these bags from Dress My Crap. So nice. And got some goodies in here. Actually, let me pull this out first because this is one of the companies that I've noticed that sometimes last day as you're leaving, some of the companies really don't want to pack all their stuff up, so they give bigger things than you're really expecting. And so these are from a company that I have not heard of before or chatted with or anything else. This is from Artify. So we've got a set of Artify, a 48 set of Artify art markers. These are supposed to be alcohol markers. I have tried them out and it turned out pretty cool, but what I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's just that I'm used to my Spectrum Noir, I have not tried Copic, I have not tried Olo, none of those yet, but the other markers that I've gotten so far, I've gotten the Parkou, you guys have seen that on my channel before, and now these, they don't seem to blend as well, but that also means you get better detailing. So this is just something that I stamped out from a new Scrappy Tales stamp set, and then after coloring I heat embossed it, and I think that turned out pretty pretty. So yeah, and this is just using these new markers, so I did play with that a little bit. And then they sent me a set of paints. So one of the things I want to play with is going to be my gel press and seeing how these compare to the other paints that I've got, the real nice ones that I got last year that now I can't remember the name of them, but after trying them out at Creativation last year, because there was a gel press place that I was able to do a make and take and stuff with, I went ahead and got the paints, bought the little tops and all that stuff from them. They were there this year. I didn't get to play them because, yeah, they were kind of busy and I didn't really want to interrupt or anything. So it's kind of what it is, right? So we've got those from Artify. Then what else do I have in this bag? I got a lot of markers from a couple of markers and crayons and stuff from a couple of different companies. One is this one that I believe is out of they're out of Italy, and this company basically makes different kind of art supplies, crayons and markers and such that are tailored to the age of the child. So starts off real young with some cute crayons, like these little guys. Yeah, these are just little crayons. And then as your child gets older, the crayon basically evolve. The art materials evolve. It's similar to Crayola, but this is more age specific, I think. I've also got in this, let's see, what all do I have in here? So I've got that set of highlighters that I think are just going to be useful. This little container, because they were not packaged, it's kind of where they didn't have any packaging, just said, would you like some of this stuff? And they went ahead and handed me all the things. This is one of their crayons. That is kind of a big thing there. This is the little marker that is kind of cute with the little bear. I did get an Edding marker that I got from Erin. Elizabeth says, hello, driving home, chatting at stop. Understand. Yeah, be careful, drive safe, honey. We will still be here. I'm not ending the stream early or anything. I'm planning on going to 6:30 or 7, so we're getting a little bit of an early start. Assuming, of course, that... Yes, I agree, Donna. Tell her to throw that thing, put that thing away. Assuming, of course, that Dawn is starting up at 7 o'clock, like I'm expecting her to. I have not checked. I haven't talked to her or anything. This is from Zebra. I did record some stuff from Zebra, and I need to go back and edit that because I chatted with them and they told me a bunch about the company and such. But these are some of their markers, so I got a few of those. And Motion Line. Anyway, I got some different markers and stuff from some different companies. And this part is something that is pretty cute that I did not, I don't know if I showed you guys on one of the, I think I might have showed it to you on one of the videos, but I'm not sure. These guys here, and I'll get those random miscellaneous markers and stuff out of the way. These are oil-based paints. I had shared with you guys that video where I was doing the wax painting, you know, that quick short. Well, RF paints, and I think I did have another video with that too. Anyway, I don't remember. Anyhow, this is something that they also do. RF paints. Basically what this is, it's oil. It's the pigment. It is linseed oil and a little bit of beeswax mixed in to put it into a stick form. And I can say from experience, because I did do a class with them on this one, that this stuff, it takes forever to dry. I went ahead and I did one of their little oil painting thingies, and it was just, I just drew a heart and colored everything in. It was just quick and dirty because I don't know what I'm doing. It was with no brushes. It was just with these and my fingers, and this stuff took forever to come off of my fingers too. But then I took it back to the house and I left it down in the basement in my mother-in-law's. That's kind of their TV room. I left it in there, and I know for at least 3 days it had not dried. I don't think it had dried before we left. So yeah, it is actual oil-based paint, so it takes forever to dry, just like regular oil paint does. Okay, let me go ahead and put those away. So that's just, you know, just a few little supplies that I got that are, you know, it's nothing earth-shattering or anything like that, but it is a little fun and gives me something a little additional to play with. So next, oh, these are also from that company. This is something I know that a couple of you guys were asking me about, was the pen. So this is some of their bigger markers from that Italian company. But this is one of those pens that I made. So that was where I used that, oh, what was it called? It was that paint dipping thing that I did, that I shared with you guys on one of the Creativation videos. But this is the one that is on the silver barrel. They actually gave me a white barrel and a silver barrel to do. And if I had, you know, pulled it up straight better, if I had pulled it up better, it probably would have turned out better. But I still think that that is really cool. It also has two... it's got a replacement of the ink, and I have not taken it out to use it at all yet. And I'm sure somewhere in my little bag it's got the pink one. So I'll show you that as soon as I get that one out. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, here's the pink one. Yeah, some of the stuff, I went through everything and started putting things in some kind of a fashion where I could use it, you know, because I could kind of contain the mess. And yeah, so I'm using my little bins. But here's the pink one. I think that turned out pretty. I mean, this started off as just a white barrel. But yeah, these are gorgeous. And this goes right on there. And let me show you that, because these are kind of cool. I may at some point get some, and we can play with them at some point. So it just comes off the end, you know, twist off the end, and you can, come on, let go. Switch out the barrel. So it's real quick and easy. So I can switch it out for my pink one. My original intent was to have some of the pink and the blue, but I really didn't have enough of the blue in with the pink, as you can tell, and I didn't have enough pink in with the blue, as you can tell. So I think I'm just going to put these pieces back and just leave my pink pen out. I think that's kind of cool. Did get some cards, of course, and a couple of stickers from Resin Rockers, which I definitely need to keep in touch with them because they were cool. And these are some pens that they were giving out at the Spellbinders booth. And I'm thinking, I need a shirt that says that. Just buy me craft supplies and call me pretty. I think that's cute. Anyway, so I've got a few of those. And of course, before I'm able to do anything, I'm going to have to clean off my desk. So I hope you guys are going to be patient with me. Okay, let me take a quick look at the chat real quick. Elizabeth says, yep, oil paintings take days to dry. T says, pretty. Been watching the guy dipping hats on IG into a solution that makes swirlies. Yes. So it's basically like water and some kind of paint. I do know that this company has the kits. I haven't really looked much into it yet. Anyway, yeah, that's one of the things it's on my long list of things I want to do. Okay, so this is something that I don't remember if I showed you guys last year or not, but I think is cool. This one is the Toss palette. That was one of the first folks that I talked to on the showroom floor, and I had met her last year. This is basically out of recycled material, but it's somewhat water resistant, so you could actually put water in here and have it not go out of the, flow out of it. You can rip this and use just pieces of it, but it's basically a palette so that you don't have to, number one, you don't have to clean your palettes, and number two, it's better for the environment. So that lady was pretty cool. Okay, and then, all right, this next stuff is from AdTech. So they gave me a couple things of dot liners, and these are kind of the ones with the grid, like what I typically use anyway. I opened one up to use it while I was in Ohio. So they gave me 2 of those, and then they gave me this. This is a new glue gun. I know I just did a video on a glue gun. That's a big glue gun. This is a little glue gun, and this one is battery powered. So this is already charged up. Hello, Miss Dawn. It is already charged. I've already used it on something. I've actually used it on my headphones because the fabric is coming off. I've got replacements because it's not supposed to do that. I've got replacements coming in. So right now I've got it turned on. So I just need to wait a little bit for it to charge up. And to charge it up, it just has this little thing here and a cord for you to charge it up. And the battery is actually housed in this part. So here we have a rechargeable battery. So I'm just going to turn that on, let that sit for a minute, and then I can show you that it works. I'll probably do some kind of a review or something later on. And I got to hang out with one of the ladies over at the AdTech booth and do a make and take, which of course stayed at my mother-in-law's. So hello, Miss Donna. Hello, Dawn. Looking to see if any new names are in the chat. Do see there's quite a few folks in here, so if you haven't already said hello to us, be sure to say hello. Our chat is very friendly, and they would love to get to know you. Hello, Miss Mary. Welcome, welcome. Yes, cordless. Cordless. Now, the last one that I was showing you guys has a stand, so it's okay, this one actually stands up too, but you don't need it to. It's also pretty much dripless, so you can just toss it on your desk and you're good to go. It's also going to run out of battery power after a while, so it's going to turn itself off. So yeah, it's kind of cool. What else do I have in here? Ooh, okay, so I got a sample pack from Clear Bags, which I'm already on their mailing list. And okay. This little bag is from Erin. She gave, it's basically your Creativation emergency kit that she does. And she had given me one last year, so I've still got the bag, and it was actually still sitting off to the side of my desk. And it's just got some little goodies in here. She's got a couple of, crayons that looks like she made using a mold, which is nice. She's got some emergency for cold. She has gum in here, that kind of thing. Let me put that one off to the side. And what else did I have in here? I have that. And this next, and this is where someone had extras and handed it to me. This is supposed to be a stencil, like a vinyl stencil material. I'm going to have to ask Jen exactly what it was, because right now, off the top of my head, I can't remember. But Jen Gross, I believe it was, got some, and on the last day, she gave one to me, and she gave one to Amanda so that we could try it out. So that's what I believe that this is. Let me just... Yeah, it's sticky, but it's not too sticky, if you know what I mean. So that's great for masking or stenciling material. Oh gosh, Dawn says that she is in her basement battling the furnace. Yeah, I've still got so much stuff I want to get done. I haven't started falling behind yet, but we've wound up having other things to deal with. Both of our phones we had problems with during the trip. I think I told you guys that already. I ran out of battery also, but I ran out of battery power. I ran out of room on my phone when I was doing all the recording and stuff. In that area, you couldn't get Wi-Fi, so I think that's probably why my phone was acting funky. But I was having trouble keeping it charged or even getting it to charge up correctly, which is I really have no idea why that would happen. And then when we get home, Todd starts having the same kind of phone problems on his phone, where the battery just was tanking for no reason at all. And then it was tanking for no reason at all. And then it wound up being where he couldn't even get a phone call. I could call him and him being in the same room and the phone would not ring. It wouldn't go to voicemail, nothing. We have no idea what happened with it, other than the phones were Samsung S8, S8 Plus, I'll give it that credit, but they're 5 years old. So they would be 6 years old this summer, because that's when we got the last ones. So we wound up doing some research and going and shopping around all the different places local to see about phones. So we've got new phones. So now I've got the Google Pixel 7, which has better camera and twice as much storage space on there, which also means I'm going to probably be using both of the phones to be able to do video of at the next things coming up. So that way I've got plenty of space and it's a lot faster and all of that. He got the Google 6. The only reason I got the Google 7 was, number one, the camera is better, yeah, but I hadn't decided when he got his. So a couple days later, I'm on the Best Buy website and mine is cheaper than his, because of the sale they had going on. So we went ahead and got that. So yeah, we had to buy new phones. So we had that. And of course, when we were going to go do that, we were going to do grocery shopping, do different trips. So we were going to take 2 cars. And as soon as he got out of eyesight and I get into my car, I can't start it because the battery died. My Miata has already had some issues with that, and we had it on a trickle charger so that it wouldn't use up all the battery so fast. But for whatever reason, something happened during the trip and it stopped working. So I had to wait for him to come back. It's basically lots of little things like that that cost so much time that I could have been creating. I mean, no, I could have been editing. That's what I wanted to be doing. Okay. So that's, oh, and then the stuff that I have in this little bag, this is actually the bag that all the ad tech came from. But as we were leaving and we were finding out, we knew where the next year's going to be, I had to grab a few things that I'm going to use on my channel at some point. So I have, I've got some Mardi Gras masks in here. So I've got Mardi Gras masks and beads, and no, I didn't have to do anything to get the beads. Okay, so that is that bag. Let me gather everything back up. It is nice to be able to just tap this thing. It's like it's Todd's old tablet, and we didn't even think about that. His old tablet had a touch screen, and that makes it so much easier. Okay, this looks like it is. It's actually pretty nice. It's nice and warm. Yay. Okay. I am just going to take some trash out of the trash. And that's a big glob of the stuff. I just, yeah. They would make me pay in beads. Okay, it's already dry. It's already dry. This is not one to come apart. I mean, I can peel it apart if I want to. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is just, it's a hot glue gun. It's battery powered. You see, there's no cable. Ah, magic. There's no cable attached to it, and it works pretty good. Okay, and then when the battery dies, I just have to plug it back in and it'll be fine. So let me put that one off to the side just to make sure that it doesn't do anything funky, right? And get this bag out of the way. Okay, so, oh yeah, I don't have quite as much stuff in here as I was thinking. I've got a bin down beside my desk. Half the stuff in there is from my mother-in-law's basement, where because Sean, that's Todd's brother, and Todd were both engineers, they wound up doing like sketching and things, so they had a lot of sketching tools and charcoals and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you definitely need this. Are you frozen? No. No. Okay, just making sure. Okay, so Mary says, I only use AdTech hot glue sticks. They don't turn yellow. And I did get a few of their glue sticks, and they're supposed to be, they don't have as much of a string. as some of the other companies do. So next I've got a bag. The bag is from Craft Express. And then all the things that are inside it are from Craft Express because, you know, I got to hang out with them. So we've got some sublimation transfer sheet, which I have not opened this to see what's actually in it. It's like... Vic is so funny. So I'm hanging out at their booth like near the end of everything, and I think they were starting to pack some things up. And he's saying, "Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that?" I was like, "Yes, I've got some of that. Would you like some of this stuff?" It's like, "Okay." So he starts just piling things into a bag for me. And you see, I have not opened this yet. I'm not sure why it's in basically wrapped in plastic, unless it's to... This is something that Bethany probably would be able to answer better for us. It's whether or not it's because I'm assuming this is like these colors, and maybe we need to keep it in darkness so that it doesn't fade. I don't know. So I am going to put it back in the box though. Okay, yep. So they gave me some sheets of pretty papers that I can use on sublimation. Ooh, look at the wood grain. Like I said, I had not looked at this yet. I mean, you can kind of see what it is, but until you see the big pieces, you can't see. Okay, it needs to be stored in the dark if it's an infusible sheet. Great to know, because you know what? With Artistry inks, I can also create my own infusible inks. And with the Artistry thing, she's kind of changing things up where she's not going. I believe she's not going to be having specific design team folks. She's going in a different direction. Still using different people to work with and stuff, but I shouldn't be having to do a lot of those coming up. I will be still using the Artistry stuff because I'm going to be using with my Craft Express stuff. But we've got this one that is kind of that cool blue, and then we've got, where's this supposed to be green? It doesn't look quite, I don't know what color it is. And then we've got a wood grain, and then we've got, I'm going to assume that this is the green, and then we've got Rising Sun and Dreamy Sky, and look at that pattern. That pattern's kind of cool. Pink Mist, and then this one is Firefly Night, which is kind of cool. So I think I am going to try to put them back in the bag. Okay, great. I'm able to twist it back up and then put them back into the box. I did not know that these things needed to be kept in the dark, which is a good thing to know. So when I'm making, I mean, if you've got your Artistry stuff out, you might as well, you know, make a couple of extra sheets, especially if you're starting to play with gel press and stuff. Anyway, so we've got that. Then, oh, this is cool. So they gave me some blanks too. This one is a blank that we can sublimate on, and it's basically a patch. So that's kind of cool. And I've got a big oven mitt. And of course, the bag is also sublimatable. And then this is not sublimatable. This one's not. This is something that's already done. It's because I thought it was cool, so they gave me another one. So I've got a new, I think it's a 4-in-1. But yeah, this is kind of cool. So this one, you can put a can in there, you can put a bottle in there and have the lid to go over the top, or you can do just like we do with a lot of our regular coffee and stuff, which I was drinking out of the Flamingo one a lot. That's what I put my coffee in from the time I got it. So I've got a second one, and this one, I thought it was cool because it's Crafty Brew. Craft Express Crafty Brew, 100% volume crafty. So I think that is super cool. What I need to do now is get some of the mugs, and in order to do mugs, you either need a mug press or you need to have a convection oven that and there's like the sleeves that you put over the mug so you can heat it and it vacuums the anyway. There's a different way to do it if you don't have a mug press, and I haven't decided which way I want to go because it would be really cool, but where am I going to put the stuff? I really needed to destash and get rid of things so I have room to put more things. Okay, so there's that bag. And, okay, this one. Yeah, that's the one I already did. Okay, this one has mostly things from Sizzix. So this is a Sizzix bag that they gave out at a little reception they did, and something else that I picked up along the way too. This one was not from Sizzix, but how could I resist when they were giving away the, yeah, that is too cool. That's, oh, and do I have, oh, I forgot I had something in here. You guys were asking about the, or an air fryer as long as it gets to 400. Still, either way, Linda, and you're absolutely right. It has to do with space to have another thing that I cannot use in the kitchen, right? Because we've got a convection oven in there that I could probably use, but no, I'm not going to use it for crafting and food. That's just not going to happen. But you guys were asking before, you know, last week before, about the Better Press, and I forgot that I didn't leave this. I thought I left this in Ohio. This is one of the things that they made, and you can't feel the texture, but I can. It's not embossed like embossing, so it's not that big of a thing. It's just, all the things are just pressed in, and you've got that really fine detailing. And you can also use the same plates in your glimmer system. You can't use glimmer plates in the Better Press. You can't do that. But, and I will have a Better Press soon. So anyway, yeah, I kind of need help with, I'm spending too much money, guys. I need help. Anyway, I think that is so pretty. And I had forgotten that I put it in the bag. And it's a nice lined bag. And yeah. Anyway, I have no idea what I'm going to store in that, but it's something that, this is a nice enough bag. I mean, I usually use like the clear mesh zipper bags for my projects. At least that's one of the things I'm doing lately. So this has got to be for something better. I might use it for my Simon Hurley stuff, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so what I've got in this bag is, what's this? Masking film. This is all from Sizzix. So this is a pack of masking film, which I have not tried yet. And I've got so many new things I need to try out, right? Then we've got some of the sticky grids. I got 2 packs of the sticky grids and foam tape. Foam tape is always good. 2 things of foam tape. And then I've got 3D textures, texture fades. And then I've got kitties. And then I've got these thinlits that this one is for, what's it called? I can't friggin' see a thing. Interactive tags. Oh, and I didn't realize it's also got the little flowers and stuff too. So that's going to be pretty. And then another tape runner. Yeah, I'm pulling all the things out. This was from a Make and Take. Oh, why do I have one of my cards? Oh, because I got somebody's. Oh, I got the people from Amidex's information. That's good. Amidex does those. And where do I not have it? I may have left it up in Ohio if it's not in one of my bags. Amidex, they gave me a sample. I think I got one last year of the same sample, but it's an ink remover. I think I told you guys about that in the chat or in the comments from that video because the stuff is fabulous. Okay, and then we've got Prism Paste, which I have never heard of, but I'm going to have to try. And did I have something else? That might be, yeah, that's it. Okay. So that's all the stuff that was in my Sizzix bag for going little wipes. Yeah, I know that the silicone wraps, I know that Artistry's got some. I just have never tried it because, of course, I don't have the little oven to go along with it. So anyway, let me go ahead and put all of these back in here because I am going to have to start rearranging some of the stuff. Yeah, the Amidex, I really need to try that more. I mean, the guy put a mark, and he did this more than once. I saw him do it more than once, and it's just a regular Sharpie. So he puts a Sharpie down on his skin, and you know how hard those are to come off, and he was able to basically just take it off like immediately. Oh, the last thing. I knew I put something to the side. This is something, this one is, what's it called? You can tell it's all shiny. It says muted. It doesn't say the name of it, but it's basically a little tower of all these different... Oh, I got a bunch of bling. And I had not opened this yet, guys. Seed beads. Those two are seed beads. This one is little green hearts and actually different shapes of the green hearts. This one is red hearts. And then we've got red stars. So I've got a bunch of little new shaker bits from Sizzix. And when I think of Sizzix, I don't think of shaker bits. Hello, Miss Amanda. How are you doing, hun? Yeah, it's the name Gloria is Amadex. Absolutely. And that stuff was fabulous. So got all these fun little goodies. And then, oh, the last thing I've got to, okay, I'm going to go ahead and clear this stuff off because the last thing that I've got that I want to show you is what I plan on playing with tonight. So if you guys could just entertain yourself while the Be Right Back screen is up, I'll go ahead and get this cleaned up really quick.
Adore me. I can feel love from miles away. And the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh, easier to love, oh, oh.
Y'all are funny. So just looking at the chat. Yeah, I noticed that Linda has gone home because she was saying something about if somebody came to visit me, they would have to stop off and see her first because she's on the way. Oh my, it's storming here. We need the rain, but I don't like the lightning. Absolutely. Yeah, my husband told me that we were actually in a drought, and I'm like, what? But it just means that we hadn't been getting rain like normal, like what we would normally get. And then over the last couple of days, we've had quite a bit, and it's supposed to rain again tonight, I think. But it's nothing like hurricane, so I'm happy with that. Is Maisie missing her partner in crime? Okay, so let me go ahead and switch this back around. So this is what the box looks like for the Ulti-mate2. Now, I don't know if you guys know it, but I had never heard, number one, I had never heard of Lisa Horton before, and she is fabulous. I mean, I absolutely love her. Yeah, I've already told you guys the story. I mean, I'm sitting at the reception the first night or I don't know, I think maybe it was the second night. Anyhow, I was sitting at the reception and I didn't know anybody that was actually there that wasn't busy talking to other people. So I'm just sitting down at a table by myself because I was tired. I didn't want to be standing anymore. And anyway, so I'm just sitting there. I think I was playing Candy Crush or something on my phone. And then these ladies come up and ask me, "Are you on your own?" You know, I love British accents anyway. And I love that that's what they said. It was just too cool. So they say, "Are you on your own?" I said, "Yes." And then, well, you know, they decided they were going to come and join me. So I just got to hang out with them for the entire reception. And I don't even remember what all we were joking about, but we were joking about things. I think there was some eye candy or something around too. It was fun. They were a hoot. And then later on, you know, like the next day when I'm going into the exhibit floor, I come across them. It's like, oh my God. You know, I didn't know anything about them. And so it's like, I'm wanting to hang out with them and stuff again, as usual. And they wound up showing me all the things with this. That's the first thing that Lisa showed me. And then, of course, Amanda, the next day. Yes, she is absolutely a hoot. I love Lisa. I love her to death. So the next day, I'm walking around with Amanda and we're looking at things and we were looking at some color changing watercolors, I think it was. And she's like, well, have you seen the inks? It's like, what? And so she takes me over there and it's like, it's Lisa again. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't show me this yesterday. It was so funny. So that time I wound up having to watch everything, and at that point my phone did not have any memory left on it. So yeah, I had to come back the next day to take video. Yeah, I met Amanda in person last year. She is super, super sweet. We're going to be working, Linda, if you're in Orlando in May, in the end of May, we're going to be working the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at the end of May in Orlando next month. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. So if you're in the area, come by and hang out and say hi. And I believe that the plan is for me to be doing some make and takes and stuff. So we're going to be playing with the lights and all that kind of fun things. So anyway, but yeah, you can meet Linda in person too. Linda, you can meet Amanda in person too if you want to come down to Orlando. And you're not that far. I mean, Palatka's not that far from Orlando. It's going to be at the convention center. If I can finagle the gas money, absolutely. I'd love to get to meet you in person too. That would be awesome. Okay, so this is kind of what the box looks like. And here is what it looks like inside. So this is a felt cover with little snaps. And it's kind of dirty because, I don't know, something in the box got it dirty. But this is something that you can store it in, so that is nice. This is the Ulti-mate2 Multi Tool peg system. So the whole thing, first off, we've got this side, which is for your stenciling. And we've got a silicone mat, meaning you can do your ink blending and stuff, right? Turn it over, and we've got a scoreboard. Now, one comment I did see on a lot of the videos is where the lines are not necessarily lined up with the measurements. And on one of Linda's videos recently, she said that that's actually intentional. Although when I looked at mine, I think mine are actually right about where they're supposed to be. But she said that these are just measurements for you to know about your card. They're not necessarily the ones that are for these. So if it's off a little bit, you know why. But you can use it on this side too if you want to. Anyhow, so we've got our nice silicone mat, which is still clean, although I've used it a couple of times. And before I grab out the other things, I'm going to show you the stuff I've done so far. And then we can decide what do we want to play with. So first thing, I wanted to see, okay, peg system. Not sure exactly what's going on with that. I watched her. It looked super easy, but you know, how many times have we gotten a tool that looks really easy and then when we tried to do it, there's something wrong with our brain and it just doesn't work quite right? Yeah, I know that's happened to me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to just try it with just some colors out of my bin. I didn't look ahead to see what was going on. While I was doing it, I discovered that each of the stencils actually has a number on it. Up in the right corner, up in the upper left-hand corner on one side of it. So that way you kind of know which side is up. Yeah. Anyhow, but I did this on the first try. And I think it's gorgeous. This is just using the stencil. But her sets, so here's the stencil. The layering stencil. There's 11 stencils. Hello, Miss Sandy. Welcome, welcome. So it has 11 stencils. And right up here is where you can't see it. It's etched in. Let me see if I can get the light. There we go. This one is number 11. So 11 stencils. And because I would want to see it going in the correct direction, I would be putting them on the side. And you just do them one at a time. And if I put this on here in the right spot, I think that's, there we go. If I wanted to, I could just lay it back down on there and do all of the stenciling over again. Okay. Hello, Mr. Jim. But yeah, this was the first time I tried it. I just took it out and just started playing with some of my inks. I think all of these are Catherine Pooler. But it's like, I didn't know what was what. I mean, there's one that I probably should have done in like a dark green or a brown, and it's got these little tiny tweaks, and I didn't know what they were for. I just saw that there were like 3 lines on the entire stencil. Anyway, so that was the first time around. But not only does she have the stencils, which I know we've seen something similar, peg system kind of thing before, she also has this. This is a 3D embossing folder. And when I put the 3D embossing folder through my Platinum 6, it's like, wait a minute, it's not going in there right. It didn't give me the dimension I was expecting because I used the Spellbinders 3D embossing folder sandwich. This is not that kind. This one goes through your regular. You don't have to have the universal plate system to use these 3D embossing folders. They are not as thick as, say, Sizzix, Tim Holtz, Spellbinders, all of that. But they do give more dimension than a regular embossing folder. So I think that's one of the differences there. So I went ahead and had to do it again. So first she's got the stencils, and then she's got the embossing folder, and then she's got the dies. Now there's separate dies so you can cut different pieces out, but it's like they're not attached to know where you're supposed to lay it to cut these other parts out. So it's like, I couldn't figure out, how are you supposed to do that? So I'm just playing. Okay. I did everything probably backwards, but it turned out gorgeous. So this one has been embossed, and it's been, let's see, I'm thinking my lighting is a little bit off because you can't really see that embossing, but yeah, this one has been embossed and die cut out. And I did the embossing first because I didn't know. I did the embossing first, then I did all of the stenciling over my embossed image. That helped me line it up to exactly the right spot the first time around. And then I die cut it out. Now, another way I would say to go with it would be to stencil it first, then emboss and die cut. I think you're supposed to die cut second, but to be honest, I don't think I'd be able to line everything up perfect like I did this time. This time I lined everything up perfect behind it. And of course I was using A2 size cardstock, which is why this is not an actual full circle the way that the embossing folder is intended. So that is what I've played with so far with this, okay? And my thought is that today, assuming we still have time, we still have an hour if Dawn gets her furnace issues finished up before 7 and is still wanting to go live. We've got until 7 unless, whatever. We might go later if she's not ready to go. I don't know. But this is one of the sets that she gave me to play with this. Okay. She also gave me another one. So let me get this one put back in the package, and then you guys can tell me which one you want to do. By the way, for anyone who hasn't already noticed that there is a poll. There's a poll up over there in the chat. Go ahead and do that because that's going to kind of help me. I pretty much want to see what you guys are most interested in right now so I can try to start planning out the next couple of weeks. Because believe it or not, I'm not behind yet. Okay, shall be ready. She has been playing she'll be ready. She's been planning all day. Good. Awesome. Okay, so that is one set. That's this one that's got that cute hummingbird. And then she gave me this one. And I've only run it through once, and then I decided to try something with the stencils that didn't work the way it's because I decided to try something different that I hadn't tried before. She gave me this one. This one is a butterfly with with roses. So this is just very pretty. I want to play with her new inks too. I have to wait for them to come into stock. Now, one thing I am going to let you guys know. First off, I did leave links to everything down in the description for this. I didn't do on all the other stuff, but this is what I wanted to play with because, yeah, it's what I have and I want to play with it now. Anyway, I left links down below where you can get it at scrapbook.com. However, this is out of stock. That's number one. And these are supposed to be available in May. So they're not out yet, but we are only a week away from May, so who knows when next month it is. I'm sure that what happened was that scrapbook.com made all of the arrangements with her over Creativation while everybody was there. They probably made their arrangements to get the products in. And I know from just watching some of her videos and live replays and stuff that these things have been going fast. In my opinion, and Amanda can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but in my opinion, Creativation was very successful for all the companies involved this year. So that I am super excited about. That means you guys are going to have a lot more fun things to play with. And I'm also excited that she's in London, but she's got companies in the United States that she's working with. And there's another one that I am working on getting an affiliate status on. I went ahead and applied for that today, so we'll see, because I know they're getting the inks. I do not know. She told me that scrapbook.com is going to get them as well, but that'll give you a couple of choices if I'm able to get that affiliate thing. So you guys tell me, do we want to do hummingbirds or do we want to do butterflies? Yeah, Amanda's just saying it was a great show. Yeah, and I didn't get to see everything that I wanted to or say hello to everybody I wanted to. I watched Kelly it's been a while since I watched Kelly Latavola's videos just because time. Yeah, I'm always busy, and I watch more of you guys' videos than I do some of those guys. So we've got one for butterfly and one for hummingbirds. I think I need to set up another poll, and right now let me look and see what the current poll says and put down the stats on that. Let me see if I can copy it. Can I copy the results? Ooh, maybe I can do a copy and paste. Except I don't think it let me do it. It kind of just minimized. Okay, so we had 13% for hot foil, probably because I do it so much and you guys know it's going to be coming anyway. 60% for gel press, 20% for scan and cut, and 7% for everything else. So I think that means y'all want me to play with my gel press. Okay, so let me go ahead and end that poll. I'll go ahead and put up a new one. And this one is going to be, oh, well, now it has that on there. So we had 15 people. Copy and paste. I'm actually trying to keep myself organized this time because I'm trying anyway. And then the new poll is going to be which set? And we're going to go with butterfly. No, yeah, that was butterfly. And the other one is hummingbird. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that up, and you guys can let me know. It's going to be a few minutes. While we're doing that, I remembered, of course, that this is not all that you get with this one, okay? We've got a little storage spot. There's storage here, and this side has a little die to create. You can make your own stencils. You could do a cardstock die cut and make it into a stencil just by adding the little holes on the side. You can do layers and stuff, so that is kind of cool. But yeah, it's spaced exactly for those. So yeah, you can make your own stencils or convert your current stencils into these. Now, one thing that she did say, and this is what I like better because I don't like the idea of damaging mine, you could always just put it on some cardstock or acetate and attach it to your existing stencil. As long as you got everything lined up right, you're good to go. Elizabeth, I know she's awesome. She makes all her own stuff anyway, right? So Elizabeth could definitely do something like this and make her own to be able to make. She was making stencils yesterday, so if she decides to go into the realm of layered, she could create it to work on here. So that's on one end where you got the storage for that. The other end, you got another storage slot. Okay, did I look? Okay, there's something still in here. Where'd you go? There we go. Yeah, I'll put this back on. I didn't actually break it. It just comes on and off like it's supposed to. Anyhow. But we've got a little wand in here that we can use too. Okay, so those both closed up. So this one end is so that you can pick up all your gemstones. So it's the one end is like a little jewel picker. And I just had those others out. Let me grab out those little guys from Sizzix that I was just looking at. I bet this is taped shut. Of course they do. So one end has the wax on the end and the other end has got your scoring tool or your little ball stylus. I honestly, the one, this is what I always use. This is the one I don't know when I'm going to stop. This is actually from one of the We Are Memory Keepers. I think it's from one of the envelope punch boards, but this is what I use all the time. The one that came with my EK Success, I find that it is just too, it's basically too sharp, and because it's too sharp, it cuts into the paper and cracks it, and I didn't like that. And I think these actually do the same kind of thing on my card when it comes to doing scoring, probably because I have a heavy hand. So I just use what works best for you. I have a We Are Memory Keepers system like this, but it didn't give me a die to make my own. Well, honey, you also have a scan and cut. So if you have any of the original dies, you could probably scan it in and create a template to be able to cut those. I think about 2 years ago, I made a little template to do basically the same kind of thing with my Happy Planner. Haven't really used it that much, and I wound up finding that it was more convenient for me when it was time to do Happy Planner stuff to just use the punch. So I went ahead and got the punch, but it really is up to you. But yeah, this is going to be really, really cool. And I'm a firm believer that basically all the things under the sun, we've probably already gotten something similar to it at some point in time. Even say, okay, we all love Simon Hurley and we all love his stamping foam, but that was actually an idea from years and years and years ago that people just stopped doing for a while, and then he took the idea and made it better. That's what a lot of things are when any kind of technology is involved. And yes, crafting tools are, in my opinion, it's technology in some way. Someone has to figure out a way to do it. And some of the things that we have here, they don't have in the UK, and some things they have in the UK we don't have here, or they do them a little bit different. I'm trying to just take out, well, I took out more than I planned. Oh, this has got lots of different sizes too. So just using the wax one, because what I tend to use, what I've been using for a long time, and part of it probably needs to be replaced, is the Marvy pickup tool. Or the Marvy jewel picker. And the reason I probably need to replace it is that on one end, on the baby end, I accidentally kind of scraped off the end of the rubber that was on the end of it. So now the metal piece is showing on the end, if you can see that. And this camera does not want to focus on it, but yeah, you can see the little bit of metal there. The big end is fine, but the little end is not. And I've tried some of the other, what I think may have been wax ones back when I first started crafting, and I didn't really understand how they worked. And they frustrated me, but this looks like it's, and I had not tried this before. This is my first time trying it. Sorry. This is my absolute first time trying. And it's picking everything up fine. I mean, what I wound up learning with this guy is that rubber, you can clean it with alcohol and it'll get sticky again, because I think we've all had it where stuff stops being sticky. Okay, has everybody voted for which stencil set they want me to play with? Yep, you can probably cut it with your Cricut too. You just have to make sure that everything is spaced correctly. I mean, it's basically where you could do it with a cutting tool. I mean, we've learned that about all of our... You just found your jewel picker. We found that with most things that we can buy, we can also make. So it's really up to you guys. I mean, I have I think I've come to the decision on a lot of stuff that I probably spent, depending on how much you value your time, how much you believe your time is worth, I probably spent more making stuff, just the labor hours, than it would have cost me to buy the thing that would make it a lot easier for me. And that's it with a lot of stuff. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I probably will keep doing it. But at least I'm recognizing that, you know, sometimes it's actually worth it to buy the tool that'll make your life easier. Okay, so that's one thing I did not realize. Okay, I think... This went in fine before. Okay, it's a little bit snug going in. So it's basically that hole is just exactly the right size to put that, that tool in. Okay. So we're right now at 70% for the Hummingbird, and this says we have 10 votes. That means that 6 people at least that are right now watching. And I know there's going to be more folks watching on the replay and stuff, but at least 6 people watching have not voted yet. So get your vote in, or we're going with the Hummingbird. If you want the butterfly, then you need to say something. So we have a few more people that have popped in. I've already said hello to Miss Elizabeth. Just joking. They want the Hummingbirds. Bring on the bird. Eden says hello. And she said hello to Patel, and I'm looking for Patel. Okay, so if you haven't already said hello, Miss Kendra. Oh, you are so sweet. Thank you so much. And I know that one of my faults is that there's only 24 hours in the day, so I don't get a chance to get on everybody's lives. I want to go and watch everybody do everything. And the last couple of days, while I made those couple of shorts, I hope you guys like the shorts that came out over the last couple of days, because I'm kind of diving into that and trying to figure out a fast way to get it done. Because the 1-6 has no vote either one. Okay. Anyway, what I've noticed that is if I can find ways to get more things done faster, I can get a lot more stuff done. And yeah, so I try to watch everything. I just don't get a chance to. So the last couple of days while I was working on other things, I had videos going, most of them on faster speed, just so that I could finally get caught up on them. Dawn says, yes, they are too short. Okay, Kendra, there is a poll up in the top, and this is having to do with what project I'm going to be working on for the next 30 minutes. We're going to be using the new Lisa Horton Ulti-mate2 tool. We're going to be doing some stenciling and stuff. And Lisa Horton gave me this during Creativation, and she also gave me these 2 stencil, a 3D embossing folder, and die sets. So we've got all the things, okay? So this one is a pretty Hummingbird, and I've used it a couple of times. This is my first attempt at the stenciling because it is a layered stenciling set, and it is 11 stencils. I mean, one of them only has like a couple of little images on there, so it's not that big a deal. But this guy turned out awesome, and then I went back and did a second one last night, I think, where I used the 3D embossing folder and the dies. So that turned out lovely. And they basically both work the same way. This one doesn't have a solid piece, but one of the dies. Okay, I'm going to tell you this because so many people are voting for the Hummingbird. For this one of the dies cuts out just the butterfly, meaning you could do one layer that is a 3D emboss of the whole thing, do a second one with butterfly, and pop it up. And I also kind of like that little frame behind it, so that is really cool. Okay, so up at the top of the chat, you should see a poll up there, and I'm just asking everybody to vote up there. I'm trying to use some of the tools. I found out today that there are more tools that I didn't know about, like the fact that you can, for you guys that do YouTube streaming, there is a tool to be able to pop out just a little portion of the stream so you kind of know, how many people are watching, that sort of thing. They've also got markers and highlights. So if I had thought to use it, I could use those two to say, okay, I want to mark it at the beginning here and mark it at the end there, and then I could download it. Should be up there. Let me look and see what it looks like for everybody else, because I'm looking at it in the studio. Copy that, go out to the next page, paste that. Okay, so up at the top, pause, come on, what's going on? Well, that is really, really weird. As soon as I pulled it up, it popped up with the chat thing. I mean, in the chat, it popped up with the blue box up at the top, and then it stopped. Huh. Maybe. Oh, that's not the right one. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I just went in, let me mute that. I just went into the live on YouTube to see what it was going to look like. And up at the top of the chat, right above, okay, the other one is complete. We already completed one. I haven't completed this one. Right now, when I'm looking at the chat, it has top chat or live chat. And then right below it, it says Hummingbird in blue. So it should be there. I would say maybe there's some kind of a glitch on YouTube and you just need to refresh it. But regardless, we're going to say that you guys have voted to do the Hummingbird. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out. And I'm going to kind of show you how all of this is going to work. And I could do it the correct way. Oh, that's possible. You're on your phone. I'm probably going to learn more about how everything works on YouTube and stuff on my phone now that I got a new phone that seems to work a lot faster. So that will be fun. And let me close that down a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. And I also had a kind of an itinerary of what I wanted to do. So let me make sure I'm actually on track. So CREATIVATION SWAG, and then okay, yeah, we're still on track. We're running late, but we're still on track. Todd, Jim, and Gloria said hi. He says hi. Okay, I'll go ahead and end that poll. Okay. And my brain just stopped again. So we can do, okay, I have to do it sideways. The reason being, I like to have my image straight up and down. If I don't, it kind of messes with my OCD brain. And we would just use one of the stencils, and this one, do I have it upside down? It doesn't really matter which direction you go, but you need to know which direction you go. Yes, Dawn, we have brownies in the fridge. They last a while. We only eat one, or lately he's been saying, I'm full, I want half of one. Elizabeth says, I would say hi to Todd, but I'm not allowed to talk to strangers. How did you know that he was strange? You haven't met him yet. Yes, the stencils are numbered. So this one, let me see if I can adjust my lighting a little bit, because this is just a little bit too bright and you can't see it. Maybe you can see that?
Yes, I am strange.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Yeah, anyhow. Dawn, I don't know what you're saying. What? 1/2? This is 11. Hey, Simon, how are you doing? I was actually thinking about adding I think some Simon Hurley lunar paste would look great on this guy too. Oh, okay. So she thinks you're weird because you say you want half a brownie.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she was saying. Okay.
There's no such thing as half.
The meow was our first clue. Oh, by the way, Simon, it was awesome getting to meet you, and thank you for putting up with me hanging out and just videoing for so long. I really didn't realize it was 30 minutes. I mean, you make it go so fast. It was so incredible. It was so much fun. Okay, bye, Miss Amanda. Amanda says, hi, Todd. She's got to go be mom taxi. So I will see you later, honey. Okay, so anyway, each of them are, I'm trying to see if I can find a way to see it. I think you can kind of, can't really see it. I'm going to have to go over that with, maybe this will work. I do have some distress crayons out. Yeah, I've got all these different things that I really need to either play with or get rid of. And, you know, I don't want to get rid of these, so I need to play with them. Okay, you can kind of see that it says 11 now. So each one has a number on it. That's what I'm here for. Oh, that's what I'm there for. The videoing was not a problem. Thank you so much, Simon. Elizabeth was very jealous when she saw the picture that I got with you. Just letting you know. Okay. So yes, they are all numbered, and I'm going to do them in the same orientation as on the package, which means that the number is going to be in the upper left-hand corner, and later on I'll go ahead and get everything marked, and the same thing on my other set. But let's start with, where's my number 1? That's number 2. Okay, I picked up 2 at once and then freaked out. I'm sorry. I am a little bit OCD. Okay, this is number 1. And these are basically designed for square cards. That doesn't mean you have to use square cards. I never do square cards. I always cut my card panels down to 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to put that down. Wherever it is, that's fine, because now I can just layer these on there. And as long as I put them, as long as I don't shift the paper, which should stay pretty much straight on this, there's not going to be a problem. Next, let's get out a bunch of inks. Okay, I've already done one of my hummingbirds. I did with orange flowers, and one I did some pink and yellow, so I decided to do a little variety there. This one, I wasn't sure what I was doing, so I just kept going with orange. I think they are. It may not be just the UK. It could be just, you know, just... It could be Britain, it could be the EU, it could be all the things. I think I want to go with some yellow this time. So this one, I'm going to have to label this. I cannot read it. The ink, the color is so light that I cannot read the thing. It is... Let's see if it's on the bottom. Whipped honey. Okay, this is whipped honey. Yep, it's also designed for square cards. Yep. And I'm just going to go over this. And again, I'm not really paying attention, because what am I paying attention to? I'm paying attention to you. Now, I am also OCD, so I am holding it in place, although I don't really have to, because the silicone mat is going to hold pretty much everything in place for me. There is this one little place here, though, that is kind of just hanging on there. I have to adjust the lighting. This has got to be wrong. And that is probably the wrong one. That's why. Okay, I think that's why. Oh, that's the wrong camera. I had my face going very, very dark. Let me adjust this a little bit, because you guys need to be able to see this, and I can tell that this is just not, it wasn't quite dark enough for you to be able to see. That's too bright. Okay, so right here, you can see this little piece of the stencil. It's got this little tiny bit here holding it on, which means first time you use it, you got to be careful. You're liable to, you know, mess it up. So I'm going to kind of try to go from that little spot and go away from it so that I don't mess everything up. I don't want to break it off or bend it too badly. Yeah, this is a nice color. This is actually, I'm putting down more than I probably need to, but that's okay. Okay. And let me grab a baby wipe because that's going to be the easiest way for me to clean this up. Where'd they go? I just had them. There we go. Because otherwise, I mean, I'm basically right now, I'm using water-based inks anyway. So it's not going to be that big of a deal. And they'll just wash off in the sink, but I don't have a sink right here. So I'm just going to wipe them off with a baby wipe, set them to the side, and move on to the next one because I don't want to take forever. And then we'll go on to number 2. This is the one that I wasn't sure what it was because it's got all these little bitty holes and I wasn't sure what it was. Okay, Miss Kendra, we will see you in a bit, honey. And then the last one I was doing, I realized, oh, those are like little stems for my my plants, right? So let's grab out something that'll work for that. And I think this time I am going to actually combine sets. I've got inks in different places. This is one of the things I need to rearrange and reevaluate where I have all my stuff stored. How many of you watched the organization summit this weekend and now want to go through and reorganize all your stuff? So I'm just going to take a little bit of brown. This is Vintage Photo. And I just grabbed it because it's brown. Because I know that these little guys are basically little stems. I'm just going to fill in a little bit on them. And then I'll wipe this one down and put it off to the side so it can dry. And usually things pretty much dry about the time that I get done with the next one. So this is number 3. So for this one, I'm going to need a green. And let's see, what green do I want to use? I'm primarily using Catherine Pooler stuff because I just love it, you know? I need to play with other things too. So for my greens, I've got, this one's Garden Party. And we've got Melon Ice, which is kind of a yellowy green. And I really need to relabel these and actually put them back where they belong. We got Meant to Be, Deck the Halls I want for my detail. And then I've got grass skirt. So I really only need 3. Your phone's dying. No. Oh, fabulous. Crystal said that she won the Organization Summit for Life theme from the Craft Roulette Show. Awesome. Gloria says, how do you know what color to use on each stencil? Well, one way would be to look at the packaging, or another way would be to just kind of experiment. I mean, I did not know. Let me pull this one back up. I did not know what those little marks were. So the first one that I did them in orange. It's like, there's one of them right there. The second one, I did it in green because I learned, right? Some of them, it's basically you kind of know, but if you go by what's on the packaging, you kind of get an idea. On here, it looks like it's kind of a brown purple is for those little stem pieces. These I know are leaves, so it really depends on what color leaves you want to do. I know I want my dark green to be for the detailing, you know, the little veins, just because that's kind of how I like it. And I think the last time I went with Meant to Be, so let's take that one out of the mix. I'm going to go with Garden Party and with Grass Skirt. So those are both a little bit darker, maybe. I think I went with Garden Party and Meant to Be. So now we're going to do the Grass Skirt also. And because and I know it's probably nerve-wracking that Yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking seeing you're doing that and you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking the first time when I was doing this. Like, I'm just going to go with it and see how it does. Because, yeah. And I'm thinking you don't have to do ink blending on these. If you wanted to, you could grab your markers and go with it too. And who says that your leaves have to be green? They could be any color. I mean, the plants could be dying, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish putting down some of the grass skirt. And I'm going to just let you know, at this point, I couldn't tell if anything was being done right or not. It's like, well, it looks okay, but, you know, I don't know. Am I doing this right? I might be doing this completely wrong. Okay, so next we've got another one, and this one is, I believe this one's also for leaves. And first thing I need to do is make sure that my numbers are up where they're supposed to be. They're not. Here's my number 4. So now when I put it on there, it's actually right. If I put this down the other way, I would be thinking, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. So now we're going to go with Garden Party. I probably should have done this one before the other because this one's actually a little bit lighter than Grass Skirt. But that's okay. Yeah, I watched some of Lisa's. She showed her design team people's stuff. I mean, some of them were just absolutely gorgeous. She even used some of the new inks on them too. I mean, one of the people, I think one of them, there was one that looked like it could have been gilding wax. I mean, anything that you can do through a stencil, you could do through these. The only downside to doing, well, you have to time it if you're wanting to use any pastes or anything. So if you're wanting to use lunar paste, like I really want to use lunar paste on this, you're going to have to decide when do you want to add that. Because you can't put another stencil down until the previous one is dry. Okay, so now I've got another one. This one is another one that is those, this one's going to be for the dark green and is again, wrong direction. So I'm having to turn it over. Again, the one way to know it is it does have that etched part, and as long as you make sure that the etched part is, the etched number is in the same spot on all of them, you're good to go. So now we've got Deck the Halls. And this pad is pretty juicy. At some point I need to go back and re-ink all my stuff. So now you can kind of get an idea. I mean, we've got at least one flower that is not doesn't have its base color down, but that's coming up. Okay, wiping all of that ink off. Let's go with the next one. Okay, and here we've got a couple more flowers. I'll go ahead and put those down. And it is covering up where we already inked. So it's going to basically make that lighter color, that yellow we already put down is going to be a lighter color around each of our petals. That is going to look kind of cool. So I think for those, I'm going to stick to kind of the yellow family and grab the ginger. This is the new one from Catherine Pooler. Do I want to use this brush or do I want to use my orange? I think I'm going to use my orange because I want my yellow to kind of stay bright. I'm just going to put a little bit down. It doesn't really need a whole lot. It really depends on how dark do you want your flower to be. Okay. It's coming up perfect. We are up to number 7. So we're more than halfway done. Okay, I think what I'm going to do for these, I'm actually going to get an orange out. So let's go with one that I haven't used in a bit, and this one is Orange Twist. I tend to go to Tutti Frutti a lot, probably because it's in one of the bigger pads. And I do use my bigger ink pads more than I do the smaller ones. I don't know if I've got a refill for these either. And I almost missed that little flower right to the edge. I didn't really notice it. And if you look at this, we've got a couple of these. The ones that were yellow are now a brighter orange, where the other orange is kind of a darker redder orange. And it's all the same color, and it has to do with the layering of the colors. Okay. So it is coming together pretty good. Okay, next one. This one is number 6, and we've got ourselves some hummingbird wings. So what do I want to do with my hummingbird? Let's do something different. I'm going to do some Meant to Be, which is kind of a blue-green, soft blue-green color, and we'll put that down as the base layer for our hummingbirds. I'm also going over one of those flowers, which now is going to turn it kind of a bluish greenish color, because it's this blue-green color over that yellow, so it's almost greenish. So that's kind of interesting. And just make sure I've got all the places, because sometimes I have worked some on one side and then it'd be kind of, there's be like another spot on the other side and I didn't see it. So now we've got our wings for our hummingbird. Okay, and this one is was that number 8? Yeah, that was number 8. So this one's number 9. This is the one that has a little extra piece right there. So I think I'm going to go, let's go with Fiesta Blue. A different color of blue that I don't use that often. This is also a great way to just try out different colors and see what you like. I mean, I'm probably using color combinations that I never use, right? I'm using some inks that I never use. And I think at some point, one of my next ones, I need to just use all Tim Holtz. I've also got some older inks, or some older to me inks, in a cabinet, since I need to clean everything out and decide what to keep and what to get rid of. But I've got some of those, and it would probably be a good idea to just try them out on something like this, because you can make some real fun things and see, is that an ink that you actually want to keep? And you may decide, oh my God, I love it. Okay. So there we go for the body and part of that ring. And welcome in, Arlene. How are you doing today? Well, you said, what are we doing today? Well, what we've done so far is I went through, so you'll want to watch the replay, by the way. We started a little bit early, not a lot, but a little bit early, and I took out all the stuff that I have, the swag stuff that I got from Creativation, so that we could take a look at that and I could show you what I got. And then now we're playing with the Ulti-mate, I've got the box over there. This is the Ulti-mate2 from Lisa Horton. And so she had given me this at Creativation to try out, and wanted to try it out with you guys. And we're making a hummingbird using some stencils and her peg system. So this has been really cool. I'm talking more doing stenciling than I ever do, because I'm not focusing on the stenciling. I'm chatting with you guys. This was my first attempt without actually having done anything. I mean, I didn't try. I just did the layering, and it's so easy. You don't have to think about layering them up. So I just took one of the stencils off, and so here's the next one. This one is number 10. I'm just going to put it on the pegs. And it's going to be in exactly the right spot. And since we did the blues and blue-green, let's see. I know I've got another blue. Let's go with suede shoes. I love this color. So we've already used Fiesta Blue and Meant to Be. So I'm going to use this one. This one's going to kind of be an accent for a lot of it. One of the weird things on it, though, is it is going to color the beak. Not 100% sure of why that is, but it does have that one as being one of the things. But that's what we're going to do. So I'm putting this down and just filling in those spots on the stencil. I think what I may decide to do is in the end, after we're all done with all of the steps on this, assuming I have time, because it's 10 till dawn time. Todd just laughed at me. But it's 10 minutes till Dawn starts her live, which I still need to set up our redirect to go over to her. But we are down to the last stencil. So here we are with number 11, the only one that I've got marked using my... Ooh, that would be interesting. Don't know that I want to do that. Since this one's the last one, give me a second. I'm going to go over and grab out some Simon Hurley lunar paste and see what color I want to go with on that. I'm thinking I might go with the gold. That would be pretty. Be right back. And I actually didn't have to go too far to do that. I thought I had to go and dig around in it, and it turns out I still had my gold out. So yeah, I'm going to do this. Dawn says, yes, Todd, that's a thing. 10 to dawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is Gold Rush. I told you, this is my first time trying a lot of this stuff. I have not done it. I think it's going to turn out good. Okay. Okay, I've got some down. I'm going to go ahead and use my scraper so that hopefully I don't waste too much of it. Yeah, that's not working. That's okay. What I should be doing is Simon's finger method, which I don't do that much because it makes a mess, but I think I am going to do that. And kind of just get it off of me and try to get it onto the paper just in those spots. Okay. Do want a little bit more. I think I want a little bit more dimension than that, but the finger definitely helps with spreading it around better. And then a little bit up at the top. And making sure I've got all of the holes. Okay. And this is going to be a little bit harder to clean. Okay, Dawn, we'll be here, honey. Yeah, I know. We still have 7 minutes. I've got time. This part at least will be done. It won't be dry and it won't be the finished product, but I will share photos with that. And I know I still owe you guys pictures from last week's. I do have some of the cards sitting out over here, though, so I can show you some of what I finished up with. Let me clean this stuff up real quick, though, because that's already drying. And I love gold, and in my defense, this is a fairly new jar, so that's why it's still full. Ready to see? So yeah, I think that is lovely. Okay, let me clean this off and let you guys just look at the lovely little hummingbird. So I don't want my lunar paste to dry on my stencil here. And I have to say that having that last bit as being the lunar paste, the very last stencil. Number one, it makes it so that everything's going to dry easily. You don't have to worry about putting one of your stencils on top of it or anything like that. But it also, that's kind of the final bit. You know, I think that is actually perfect. So now when it dries, it's going to have a little bit more shimmer and stuff. Now, I do have ink on my fingers because, yeah, I was cleaning all of the stencils and stuff. It also means that I can't emboss this until it's dry. Okay? But here's the back of the embossed. Let me do that. We still have a couple of minutes. First I'm gonna set up the redirect real quick so that we know that we're all good to go over and hang out with Miss Dawn while I'm eating my dinner shortly. And you guys can see what it looks like with just the embossing. Okay, so Dawn says a little golden book. So she is doing a little golden book, a little golden nugget is her stream for tonight. So we're saving that. So when we get done over here, what's going to happen is I'll end the stream and we will be redirected straight over into Dawn's channel. And I do need to clean these a little more. I mean, I got most of the lunar paste off, but you can still see it's a little bit, it might just be stained, but that's okay. Let me move these guys out of the way. Yeah, I'm moving bunches of stuff out of the way because I want to show you guys the embossing because that is going to be cool. Okay, this still has to dry. And guess what? I have a new platform to move it out of my way. So I can keep it on there and just move it to the side. And as long as I put it somewhere that's not going to fall. And it can sit there and dry. Another thing I've been liking doing lately is playing some with the my embossing folders, just my regular 3D ones, and I've been using ink on them and I need to practice some other techniques and stuff, so that's going to be fun. So that's what I'm going to do on this one. I think I'm going to do some ink on the back. Now what you do when you're doing that is you have to decide, do you want it to be the part that is going to be, okay, do you want it to be your background or do you want it to be your image? So this part has got the flat smooth side is the background. Okay, this side has got the raised part, which is all of your raised image. What I find easiest so far anyway is to do it on the part that's going to be flat. And I think what I want to do, I know this one's juicy, so I'm going to go with it. And I'm putting down, I know I'm putting ink down around areas that I don't really have to. And then where did I put that? I had a brayer out just a little bit ago because I did this on another one that my next step was a fail. I decided to try watercoloring through the stencil, which it doesn't really work because it can't really do it. I can use this one. So now I'm going to do a little bit of brayering to try to keep it smooth. Okay, and now grabbing a piece of cardstock. And what I like to do is I like to put it on the opposite side so I know exactly where I want it to go. And I'm kind of wanting it to go vertically across, horizontally across. And I'm gonna let some of the leaves fall off the bottom and go over the top. So we're going with that. Okay. And now, unlike when I usually use a 3D embossing folder, I'm not using my universal plate system. I'm using my regular platform. Because like I said before, this one is not as thick as, say, the Tim Holtz or the Spellbinders 3D embossing folders. Those are very thick, and this is an old plate that is, I finally have a plate that's going to need to be replaced. after using the magic mat for so long. So now I'm just going to run that through. I have noticed that it usually gives me pretty decent colors, but going back over it a second time definitely helps to get more of the background color that you want. So that is pretty good, but you can see there are some streakings, and there's also some colors on my Hummingbird where I don't necessarily want it. But since we've got the stencils, we can go over those with another color later. So that is something I think is super cool. I'm going to go over this with some more ink though. Let's put another layer down. And brayer that out. And I will warn you that this is something that I had the hardest time for a very long time doing anything with ink on an embossing folder, so I just didn't bother even trying. Okay, so now I'm basically going to wiggle this around until it fits right over the raised edges. So now I know it's perfectly placed. And then I can lay that back down, and it's still perfectly placed, and run it back through again. Bye, Miss Elizabeth. Have a great dinner, honey. I think we're going to be having breakfast for dinner. Okay. And I think that looks lovely. And again, I can then go back in. I'm thinking for this one, I really like the way most of the color did, except for the Hummingbird. So I think on this one, I'll probably just go back in and just ink up the Hummingbird using the stencils. So what you can do after all of that, like I said, I did everything probably backwards. This is probably not the way to do it. I need to go back and watch some more of Lisa's videos and Lisa's design team's videos to see how they recommend to do it, because, you know, they're the pros. We've also got this die, because, you know, you don't die cut after you emboss after you die cut. But I was thinking, if you're doing these little bits on the inside, you can't really do that. So what I did on that other one that you saw, it turned out perfect, and then I went back and I re-embossed it just to make sure, is because I've got this, I can now lay it on there, and it's going to fit into the little grooves. And it's perfect placement without me actually having to put forth any effort. Wow. And we can do the same thing with these other ones that are included. I mean, I never thought of doing doing the embossing and then die cutting. I've always thought, you know, you're supposed to die cut and then emboss. But then I can lay this down, shift it around a little bit, and it's kind of like when you're having to re-die cut something out because you die cut it once and it didn't go through all the way, and then you can kind of lay everything back in the grooves and it fits perfect. That's what I'm feeling here. I mean, no effort. Anytime we can craft with no effort, it's a good thing, right? Then we can just think about what colors we want to use and what kind of creativity do we want to do. Now I've got all my dies already lined up right where they would need to go if I was going to go ahead and die cut this one out. I don't think I'm gonna. I like the blue background. That's one reason why I did the blue background. I love that. That looks so good. Do still need to put that on while I've got them out. Before I put them away tonight when we get done, I'm going to put those on a magnetic sheet because that's where they belong. So yeah, I think that's going to turn out pretty good. So I can put this back onto my peg system and just do the pieces that are for my Hummingbird. I think I'm going to do them in some kind of a bright color to offset that blue, but this is going to be gorgeous. Okay, so it is time for us to head on over to Dawn's channel, which I think some of you guys have already abandoned ship and done that. So I will see you guys over there. I am going to be going live tomorrow. Let me see if there's anything else I needed to remind you guys. I'm going live tomorrow on Not Too Shabby Shop's channel and here on YouTube. And let me give you the link to the Not Too Shabby Shop one, assuming that this copies and pastes correctly. Okay, so that is the link to go over into the Not Too Shabby Shop's Facebook group and the event over there, because I will be going live at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Right now, my plan is to also be going live over on Twitch tomorrow and get some crafting done, because I do need to get some more projects worked on. And we also have a new class coming up on May the 20th, and we're going to be focusing on focal images with hot foil. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for your support and all the things. Again, there are some affiliate links down below in case you're interested in using any of the products that I've been working with. Anytime you use my links, it definitely helps me out. It's going to help me to get to Creativation next year. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night, and let's head on over to Dawn's stream. By the way, when you go over into her chat, be sure to type in the message DJCC Raids to let her know that you came over from me. So see you guys later. Bye, guys.